Hello, and thank you very much for tuning in to the podcast series by the New Silk Road Project. I'm your host today, Charles Stevens, the founder of the New Silk Road Project. This series is dedicated to understanding and raising awareness of one of the most important development strategies of the 21st century, China's Belt and Road Initiative. The centerpiece of the New Silk Road Project, an initiative supported by Jeep, CSIS, Magellan Capital, the University of St Andrews and Shira, was to travel the course of the Silk Road economic belt from London to Yiwu in eastern China, interviewing the key actors and academics along its course. We will have to apologise in advance for some of the tangential moments in this podcast series, and also the variable quality of audio footage. We do hope this series sheds important light into China's growing global presence and the significant changes taking place across Eurasia. A 190-kilometre drive took us from Rotterdam to the dry port of Duisport in Germany, a multimodal hub which sees the delivery of commerce from Asia to Europe. Here we spoke to Lars Nennhaus, the managing director and corporate strategist at a hub which Xi JinPing visited in 2014 to understand its role in the Belt and Road Initiative.
Lars Nennhaus, I'm with the company for 7 years right now, responsible for the corporate development and strategy. And the main focus over the past years is on the development of these transcontinental train connections. You call it the China trains. And we are very proud about this development. And it all started a couple of years ago when we had the visit of a Chinese president in 2014. At this time, he welcomed one of the first trains from Chongqing to Duisburg. This was a train from Yiwu, and this train symbolized the One Belt, One Road, the new Silk Road development for the Chinese government. And since that, we had a huge development. Last year, we handled close to 2,000 trains starting and arriving in Duisburg, only China trains. And we are expecting to handle more than 5,000 trains within the next 2 years, 2 to 3 years. So very nice development, and we are working very proactively together with our cooperation partners, Chinese partners, European partners, and existing clients to increase this development.
Super, thank you.
So we are very proud to are the starting and the ending point of this One Belt, One Road initiative right now, and
And on your website, you describe yourself as a trimodal logistics hub.
Yeah.
What does this mean, and could you describe why this is the best approach?
Trimodal means we have all the possibilities to handle trains, ships, and trucks. So to give an example, last year we handled more than 20,000 ships and 25,000 trains. So hard to figure out 25,000 trains. So it's more than 400 trains weekly in the port. We are responsible for close to 1,600 hectares of logistics space, 2.2 million square meters of covered warehouse facilities. So the port of Duisburg is located directly at the River Rhine. This is Europe's most important waterway. Several different rail operators are connecting the port of Duisburg with more than 100 destinations all over Europe. So I always say, when you are in Europe, in Duisburg, you are automatically in Italy. You're automatically in Great Britain. You're automatically in Spain, because we have these high frequent connections to all these important and relevant industrial and logistic areas all over Europe.
And as the largest inland port in the world, what have you been doing and what will you be doing to optimize transportation trains and links?
Yeah. So what we are doing, we are preparing our infrastructure, superstructure, and our logistic network for our clients. So we have a huge development in increasing the logistic space and the logistic facility I mentioned before. So we are working on what is the need, or we are always asking what is the need and the demand of our customers. Nearly all global players in logistics provide services out of Duisburg. You find them all here. Like DHL Kühnennagel has its largest facilities in Duisburg worldwide. DB Schenker, Rhinus, and so on and so on. We are an important place for the automotive industry. Audi has its largest CKD facility in our port. We have Volkswagen here. We have now Mercedes, the latest development together with DB Schenker. And what we are doing is we are asking what is the need for them. And if they need a connection, or higher frequent connection to the Port of Rotterdam, then we are going to install these connections. So we have daily connections to the Port of Antwerp, to the Port of Rotterdam, via barge, via rail. You can choose every kind of every mode of transport. This we see. And of course, we have our own logistics department, and we are going to, in addition to what is the need of the customers, we are going to establish or we are widen our portfolio.
Thank you. And you discussed very well your new Silk Road trains, and I understand the number has been increasing, but they're still heavily subsidized. Do you think they offer an effective value proposition and return if China drops the subsidies?
So what we've heard out of many discussions, high level and governmental discussions on a governmental level, they will reduce the subsidies, and they have to. What I've learned when I was in university, subsidies are only good if you like to want to stimulate business. And we are now at the phase where these trains are running on a regular basis. It's now up to us and our clients to increase the number of trains to make these connections stable, and much more important, to bring the lead time close to 10 days between mid of Europe and mid of China, so from Duisburg to Chongqing or from Duisburg to Chengdu. And then these connections, these train connections are really an alternative to the air freight. We believe, or we are convinced, these subvention will be reduced, but there will be some subventions on the main corridors, not out of every province.
And I know it's something that has been improved upon, but there's the eastbound, westbound imbalance in trade. How are you hoping to address this? Because you don't want to be sending back empty trains. Yeah.
3 years back, the ratio was 1 to 4. So we had 4 trains coming from China and 1 train left our port. Now the ratio is 1 to 2. So, and we are very proactively in stimulating the business together with our clients. We have a huge customer base in our port and in the province North Rhine-Westphalia, and this strong industrial backbone of Germany. And I mentioned we need a stable, very stable and high frequent connection. And now many shippers are asking, can you make me an offer? Or asking our clients, can you make me an offer? We would like to use the trains. So it's a natural development, and hopefully we will come to a ratio close to 1 to 1. But honestly, this will take quite a while, and the production market, the production market for all these consumer goods is in Asia. It's located in Asia, and there will be always. It will not always be. Never say never. Totally in balance. But therefore, you need logistic concepts to combine these train connection with pre-production facilities within Europe, and you have to combine the transcontinental train connection with a maritime Silk Road to organize these empty container flows and so on. So there are possibilities and opportunities to bring it close to one level.
That's a very good answer. Yeah. Thank you. And of course, you're very well positioned to be and continue to be the leading inland port in the world. How are you dealing with competition from other players like Magellan, like the port of Rotterdam, and of course, I'm sure you know the Rotterdam-Tilburg Chengdu train, which doesn't go through Duisburg?
Yeah. We don't see this as a competition. Okay. At the end, it's important for our customers, and we have the same customers as in our port and in the port of Rotterdam. So we are there for our customers, and the customers are asking for a frequent and stable connection. So every train which is running supports this idea and this initiative. And we are in several working groups, not only with the Port of Rotterdam, as well. We signed a cooperation agreement in Chengdu with the relevant players to develop specific train connections. So what is the need for the customers who is using this connection? Does they need to go to Tilburg, or are these trains or the containers, do they have to go to the mid of Europe? So on this, we don't see this as a competition. We see all these developments are supporting this initiative.
Thank you. And I've read that trains can be vulnerable on certain routes to security risks. May that be along the CPEC corridor in Pakistan or elsewhere. Do you feel along the routes that you are currently using that this is a problem?
I don't see that there's a huge problem. There are more challenges on the climatics. You have to the train has to pass 4 climatic zones, and you can imagine that it can be very cold when the train is going through Kazakhstan in the wintertime, and very hot in the summertime. And when there's a container full with electronics, you have to find solutions, heating and cooling systems. And when the train is going by Kazakhstan, it is going for thousands of kilometers, you need solutions in case of not of an accident, in case of there's something happen in the containers. You need maintenance and repair stations. These are challenges. I know many companies are working on it, and that's what I believe we should focus on, not for security. This comes automatically, and yeah.
And I mean, with that in mind, and the climatic variations, with the development of the southerly route, which may become more accessible with the electrification of the Mashhad line, with the Kaz-Tbilisi-Baku rail, is this something that Duisburg Port is looking at utilising this more southerly route?
I mentioned in my presentation, we believe there will be not only one belt, one road connection. There will be several. There will always be a connection via Russia, because the automotive industry cluster is in the northern part of China. So there's no sense, or makes no sense, to connect this area via the south of China. So there's a connection via Kazakhstan, and there will be a southern corridor. And so we look at the focal points and what is the need of the customers there. So there will be connections which are faster. There will be connections where you can put additional cargo on it. And so every alternative will be an alternative for the customers.
And I'm sure you know the academic Jonathan Hillman from CSIS. He wrote 2 years ago that trains from China do not only carry commercial goods, but they also carry political ambitions. How are you balancing your strategic cooperation with the One Belt, One Road initiative, as well as aligning with Germany's political agenda?
First and foremost, we are responsible for our customers and clients. So, and what are their expectations? What are their needs? So I'm not a politician. I cannot ask against this background. But we have public shareholders, and when we signed our first cooperation agreements, and when at the time when we welcomed Xi JinPing, of course we had the province government here. We had the vice chancellor, Mr. Gabriel, at this time was joining us. He was joining us when we signed a cooperation agreement in China. So maybe this answers the question.
No, thank you. And in your opinion, what do you see as the greatest challenge to the Belt and Road Initiative in the next 5 years?
The challenge or opportunities? What was the question?
Why don't we answer both the opportunities and if a challenge springs to mind, I would be delighted to hear.
The opportunity, I mentioned China by far will be the leading trading partner out of Europe for Germany. And the opportunities are to build sustainable partnerships on both sides. Sustainable means equal investments, not only buying and consuming, and production facilities there and the consumer markets there. So really overcross partnerships on a long-term basis. These are the opportunities, and then we all can benefit from it. Therefore, we need preconditions, and one of the preconditions is, or maybe not the precondition. What I learned, it's always good to, in a partnership to be on a or in a win-win situation for the both of us. It's always not that good to be dependent from your partner. So to become in a win-win situation, and this you have to figure out before you enter into partnerships. And we are very lucky that we have these kind of partnerships, and now we have to fulfill this for the next years.
And you have a considerable network spanning across Eurasia. Are you looking to opportunities in Africa or Latin America or further afield, or do these not apply to Duisport?
The focus is now 99% on the existing clients, and of course on these China trains. In the past, we had so many activities. We developed a master plan for the Brazilian government to support the largest port and to connect Santos, the largest and most important port in Latin America, with Sao Paulo. So due to our experience, we're able to do such kind of consultings and so on. And when a customer and an existing customer is asking us, can you support us in Africa? Can you support us somewhere else? And this is good for the existing relationship we have, then we will do so. But the focus is, if this not happened, the focus is on the existing business. And we have a lot of things to do and a lot of homework to do.
You seem like a very loyal partner.
Yeah, the port is now 300 years old, and when you look at all these partnerships, they are for many, many, many years. So, and hopefully we can continue on this development.
And last couple of questions. If you were going to summarize the Belt and Road Initiative in a single word, what would that word be to you?
Maybe 2 words. Huge opportunity. Huge opportunity. Yeah, let's see. I have a lot of homework to do. Means the European Union, the European countries. My personal wish would be to have an answer on this Chinese initiative as Europeans, and to combine this initiative in our European developments. We have this 10T corridor project and all this kind of stuff, and yeah, to build these sustainable partnerships for the future.